Hi guys, it's just Anna and welcome to Book Talk. So first I'm going to do a non-spoilery part, then when I get to the spoilers I'll warn you before time, so don't you worry about that. Today in Book Talk we're going to be talking about the second book in the Selection Trilogy, The Elite by Kiera. If you want to know more about the series, I made a book talk for the first book in the series, so you can go check that out. Click on it on the screen and it will lead you to that video where I go more in depth about what the series is actually about if you are interested in reading it. So first I want to talk about the cover, this gorgeous cover. It's not my favorite. I still like the Selection cover a lot better. I'm just not a big fan of red. I still think this is a beautiful cover. I'm usually not a fan of covers with actual people on it, but I love this. I love all these covers. I think they're so gorgeous and the dresses on these covers are so awesome. So if you can see the thickness of this book, it seems like a decent sized book, but it's really, these books go by so fast. Like you read them in literally 2 seconds. I read this in, I think, a day and a half. In this book we have a lot more tension and a lot more action and drama and a lot more urge to knock some sense into America. But I still really like this book. I thought it was a really strong sequel to the first book. So that's it for the non-spoilery section, because as you know it's the second book in the series, so I don't want to spoil you. So if you haven't read this series or you haven't read this book in particular, I recommend you leaving now because I'm going to go into some spoilers. So bye. When you read the book you can come back. Bye for now. Okay, so The Elite. I absolutely enjoyed this book. At first it started off all like romantic and perfect and the screaming was unstoppable. I just love Max and America so much. But then when you start getting more into the book, the relationship starts going downhill for so many reasons, because America is so stubborn. In this whole book she's like, I need time, I need more time, and Max basically is finishing her sentences because he knows what she's gonna say. He knows she's gonna say, yes, I know you need more time, I know it. You don't have to repeat it every 5 seconds. All Maxon is doing is being nice to you, and he sacrificed so much for you, and like, you just brush him off and tell him you need time. He knows you need time. We get it, America. This second book was so frustrating and heartbreaking and wrenching and draining me so much because, you know, the first book was so lovey-dovey and we're getting to know the world and the characters, and it's just all so lovable. And of course I can't expect it to be all perfect and hearts everywhere. I always knew there was going to be like the bad part coming, and of course it's this book. And you can see by the cover, it's like red, it's like I'm coming for you. With heart-wrenching. Aspen is really getting on my nerves in this book. In the last book he finished off being like, okay, I'm up for the challenge, which really annoyed me because like Maxon doesn't even know they're playing a game. It's like he's out of the loop with this one, and I thought he was going to discover him in this book, but he didn't. But I'm so scared for him to catch them, and every time Aspen and America were together in this book, I was so paranoid. I was like, oh my god, someone's going to catch them, they're going to come in, oh my god, America, like, do something. It seems that everything Aspen would say, America would immediately take his word for it. She believed him, everything he say, as if he was God or something. He'd be like, oh no, the sky isn't blue, the sky is green, and she would be like, oh my god, yes, of course, you're right. I'm like, no, like, he would put such a bad image on Maxon, and that frustrated me so much because you just talked to Maxon and you were like, yes, I'm gonna try, I really like you, we're gonna make this work. And 2 seconds later she's meeting up with Aspen. He's like, oh my god, yes, he's an asshole, he's an idiot, he's an actor. And I'm like, what? No, you just talked to him. And you just automatically force yourself to believe whatever Aspen has to say. And that, and the fact that he would actually tell her that she can't be a princess? What? No! Like, even if you didn't think she could be a princess, you lie. You tell her she can be, because that's what you're supposed to do. She's already doubting herself. She has so much low self-esteem throughout this whole book, and she's like, oh my god, like, what am I doing here? I don't deserve this. Here comes Aspen to tell her, oh no, you can't be a princess. You're not up for it. I'm like, what? no, but she didn't even mind. She was like, oh yeah, you're right. And I'm like, no, what are you thinking? So the situation with Marley really broke my heart to pieces. I did not expect that at all, like at all. I knew she had like some secret and she didn't like tell her in the first book, so I was expecting something to come out in this one, and it did, and it surprised the heck out of me. I always suspected it was like a love interest, but I had no idea it was the guard.
What's his name? Woodward? I forgot his name.
I did not expect her to be with another guard, but I don't mind it. I think it's beautiful, the love they have for each other, and I think he's a really good guy. But really, the way that they punished her, I know she could have died and everything, but oh my god, it was so heartbreaking to read, and America just jumping up from the crowd and just being like, no, Marley, no, and her yelling Maxon, but I know, like, we all knew Maxon couldn't do anything, and I was like, Maxon, do something, but we all know he couldn't have done anything, and she was so mad at him, and she knows he can't do anything. But the way America reacted, like, during that whole punishment scene, it was really realistic. I appreciate her for doing that, because I would have done the same thing if that was my best friend up there being punished. And the whole Chris situation is also frustrating. Everything in this book is frustrating. I'm sorry if I say the word frustrating too many times, but the whole thing with Chris is, yes, she came at the exact moment where he needed someone. She's so smart about that. It's like when the moment is right, she took it. She took advantage of that moment. She's like, oh, he needs someone. He needs someone. America's not here. Let's go for it. And she went for it, and it worked. And it worked. And he is now spending a lot more time with Chris and being all lovey-dovey with her and going out to dates and taking her to his room. He's never took America to his room. Like, she's seen his room. She gave him a present. I was like, oh, she went there. She went there. But I don't hate her because she's also friendly. She's not mean to America. She's actually open to America. She's like, okay, if you tell me everything, I'll tell you everything. But America's like shut her out. Of course, I would shut her out too because I was jealous. She's jealous. I don't know, this whole Chris thing is really so frustrating too. And I just didn't think she had to appear at the end scene where Maxon is like, oh no, you can stay, and she just suddenly appears and like, oh, do we still have dinner plans for tonight? I'm like, what?
No, like, what are you doing here? That's not what, no.
America made so many mistakes in this book, like, it's hard to count. But the biggest mistake she made was when the philanthropy project was being made, and she had to make this huge like idea to help the lower caste, and she just ruined the whole thing by exposing Maxon to his father and being like, oh yeah, Maxon, he let me borrow this top secret book, and you know, I have it. So, and the king's like, how dare you get out of here now. She's leaving, and Maxon stands up to his dad, which was so awesome, but so frustrating at the same time because it's America's fault that he had to do that.
And ho, don't get me started.
Like, she could have come up with so many other things. I mean, Chris had this amazing idea, and that also made me really angry that she had a great idea, and I knew America was about to ruin the whole thing. And when we found out that the king beats Maxon and he whips him and bleeds,
that right there, I was like, what? No. Oh my god, like, I wanted to kill him right there. And the fact that his mother doesn't know, I wanted to tell his mother. I was like, I'm going in this book, I'm going in and telling his mother.
Like, I get what America's intentions are about helping the lower caste, but there's other ways to do it. You have to get the power first to help. She has to think before she takes action. She just immediately, she's like, okay, I'm mad at you, I want to hurt you, okay, I'm gonna go out with the bam.
No.
Maxon is just too perfect to hate her, and I admire him for that. He has patience. How do you have patience, Maxon? We don't, but you do. You have patience with her. And he's just too perfect, but I hate that he just ignored her in this whole book. I mean, instead of going to her and asking her like her problems and letting her express herself, he just ignored her and started looking for a backup plan with other girls, Celeste, Chris, like all these other girls. And I'm like, no, focus on your main plan, not your backup plan. America found Celeste and Maxon together. Oh, so heartbreaking as well. But I don't think America should have acted as surprised, because she knows he's with other girls. Like, there were 35 girls, and now it's narrowed down to like 5 or 4 girls, and she has to expect him to get close to the other girls too. And of course Celeste is all over him, and of course I'm jealous about it, but she acts so surprised, which is kind of weird. But of course she's jealous and angry. I am as well. And with the Celeste thing, she can't be so angry because she's doing the exact same thing to him with Aspen. But every time Aspen and America would like, oh, let's go to this hiding spot and talk. I'm like, no. You would think after the Marlene situation that he would just stop, that they would just stop meeting each other, because they're like, oh, look, this is what can happen. This is what can happen if we keep doing this. But no, they meet up more and more and more, and Aspen is not only risking his life, but he's risking America's life too. He's so selfish. And I'm really curious about these rebel attacks, because it was so funny and great to see that girl in the woods when America was up in the tree and the girl just curtsied and laughed at her. I was like,
what's going on? And
she had this bag full of books. And then automatically you're like, oh my god, she's trying, they want the diaries. They want the diaries. They want to know what's in the George Ilea diaries. And just a few weeks ago, America told her father about these diaries in the secret room. At the Halloween party, he magically disappears. And what could he be doing? I don't know, maybe looking for the room. And I just really hope he doesn't come out to be this really bad guy, because I really like her dad, and I hope he's not this huge bad guy. But that's my suspicion. I think the dad is involved with something with this, and I hope we get to see more of that in the 3rd book with the rebellion and their side and the books and that girl. I want to see that girl again. Those are my overall thoughts about The Alight by Kiera Cass. I want to hear your thoughts. Comment below and tell me if you feel the exact same way as me. That's all for this review, and I'll see you next time. Bye! And when I get to the spoilers, I won't... And at the Halloween party, so I decided to make a separate channel for my booktube in Spanish, because I just think